I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
We are the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance. I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
And we are the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance, and you are watching the NWCA Podcast, Episode 11, the only history podcast out there and the only wrestling podcast out there that doesn't just talk history, we show history. Wes, Episode 11, and I'm not getting it wrong this week. What's going on, bud?
Well, Jesse, we were excited to be pumping them out again. This is always great when we get right back into it. Both of us have had a couple of setbacks, and I don't want to dwell on them. It's not an excuse or anything, but life is life, and things happen, right? So we're moving forward here in Manitoba. Finally, winter's finally over. I swear to God, 3 weeks ago it was still winter. It was so brutal. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Your winters remind me of Star Wars Episode 5, when it's just that winter. Yeah, it doesn't end, bro.
Jesse, really, I've missed, in my working career, I've missed one day from the roads being closed in my whole driving career. And we lost, I think, 9 days from November to April of working because the roads were closed.
Oh, yeah.
Or the times I went out, and it's like I had to come back and go home because you couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm a professional driver and everything and all that shit, but oh my God, just brutal.
Well, like you say, bud, life, na.
Yeah.
Life is life, and it happens, but we're back. Yeah. Johnny's back. We're all good, and we're moving forward. NWO was a pretty successful episode, so thank you to everybody who checked that one out last week. You were like skeptical. I'm like, bro, it's a fan requested one. So hey, you know what? It was our first fan requested one.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it today as I was driving around and mentally preparing for the big show tonight, because that's what I have to do. And I was thinking about, we should ask. We're so flexible. We have a schedule, but we're so flexible. Please, guys, just let us know if you want to see or hear us talk about something. And it doesn't matter if it's Puerto Rico or Germany or Atlanta, whatever. We're willing to learn more and share.
90s, 2000s, it don't matter. Yeah. We will go if we can find it, and we have the resources too. Look at Behind West, everybody. Look at all those resources there to go through.
I pulled out a book the other day, and I've had this book.
Yeah, let's see.
So I've had this book since I was probably in my early 20s, and it's the Encyclopedia of Football. No relation whatsoever to wrestling, other than every wrestler who was ever a football player of any significance is in this book, with stats, where they went to university or college, whatever. It's so cool. And I've used it many times. Yeah, it's...
This guy, I love it, man.
1977. So yeah, it's an old book, but I've used it so many times for reference and everything. So yeah, I might not have a million books, but same note, I'm usually, as you are, well prepared, ready to dig in deep, right?
I try my best. Like we always say, it's hard because one, we've never met, but that's what makes us unique.
Yes.
And two, I don't have certain things, but I don't have the knowledge. I'm still just a fan who likes to do this and research. So I try my best. Moving forward, I want to talk about last month's subscriber contest, Wes.
Oh, yes. So we originally had only said it was going to be one winner,
Yes.
but we decided that we'd dig up a little more stuff, and we've got 3 winners now. So this is from all the people who subscribed right from the start. So
Yep.
we do have a, I don't have a drum roll, unfortunately, but
I can go NWO.
we could do that. So I have 3 names. I could only dig so far to find out 2 of these people's names. So I'm going to announce them, and then whoever the number 1 winner is, he's going to have to get a hold of us because I don't know who he is. So number 3 is Marty Goldstein from Winnipeg. He goes under TGCTS, whatever that is. And then number 2 is David Valenta. Pardon?
Probably his username on YouTube.
Yeah. David Valenta. And then the number 1 winner is John. And I have their dates that they subscribed so that we'll use those as a confirmation on everybody. So if John wants to get a hold of us, please and thank you. He's the number 1 winner of the contest for the subscription contest from start to the end of April. We have gone up a lot, but we're still pushing. I wanted to have 100. We're not there, but we're going to.
Well, last time I checked, we were at 66, which isn't too bad considering it's only we've been around for 2 months, 3 months, maybe, not even. Oh, episode 11, so maybe 2 months.
So we're going on like 4 months now, because we started at the end of right at the end of January. But we're moving forward. We've got tons of topics. We want people to contact us with subjects. We'll try to fit that in. And it's just so cool. The NWO episode, I want to add this, Jesse, that we looked at it in our own special way. I learned a lot, and I was also reminded of a lot that I had completely forgotten about. So it's nice to go back, and when you say 90s or the 2000s, I'm in, both feet right in.
Mm-hmm. And it'd be cool too. Johnny and I, Johnny G. We were at an indie show last night, and we have lots of ideas, and so we're gonna grow our little from episodes into other places, hopefully, right, and do other things. So there's a lot of things going on. How to contact us? Social media pages is our Ontario Wrestling Clippings of the Past. It's pretty cool to be acknowledged when people say, "Hey, you do the history group, and you guys do good stuff." So I mean, hey. It makes me feel good when I hear that and doing good stuff, because at the end of the day, it's not just that we preserve history. You and I do a lot of personal stuff and trying to help family members get notice of like their grandparents or hey, my great granddad was a wrestler in the 60s. Do you have anything on him? We do a lot of that stuff too on the side.
It's continual. It's once a month we're doing some digging somewhere, whether we find anything or not.
Yeah. So, but we love it. And, to reunite those memories and all that. So you can find us on the Ontario Wrestling Clippings of the Past, the Wildman tribute page, and of course the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance page. You can get to us on Twitter at official NWCA1. I'm constantly on there. Use the hashtag NWCA Podcast. If you constantly use the NWCA Podcast, we can search that and see your questions as well. Big episode today.
Yes.
Let's get into it, buddy. September 1971. Did I put September?
It's
October.
October 15th.
Jesse put September on his own script. What an idiot. October 15th, 1971 in St. Louis. And I want to talk about some of the main guys here, Wes. We're going to talk about Baron von Rashcke, the Baron, Jack Briscoe, Pat O'Connor, and Mr. Harley Race himself. To set the scene, we always like to remind people of where they were, what was going on, right? Yes. It's very important to we like to lead up to the event that we like to talk about.
Some context of what's actually going on in the wrestling world at the time. So, and then this is 1971, so it's a few years ago.
Yeah, a few, I mean, the Leafs still didn't win a playoff.
Don't get me going. I could do a whole podcast on that.
Listen, buddy, you can make fun of Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels, but at the end of the day, I will always have the Leafs suck on you. Other than the Leafs sucking in Ontario right now, sorry boys, I'm a Capitals fan. In 1971,
Capitals? What?
Yeah, bro, 100%. I'll wear the jersey next week.
Okay, that's good.
This guy's like shocked. 1971, the Chic era in full swing. Frank Tunney, the Chic was his moneymaker. It was his for modern fans who watch the show and kids who are like, who the heck is the Chic? To give perspective on that, the Chic for Frank Tunney would have been John Cena for Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? It would have been Stone Cold for Vince McMahon. Just to give a little perspective on people who don't know the history aspect.
170 something cards in a row undefeated. Come on.
Yeah. To learn more about the Chic, you can check out our episode with Brian Solomon, the guy who wrote the book on the Chic. And I have my copy. I don't see your copy on the
I have not got a copy yet. No.
Nope. I got mine autographed. Beep. I just ball out like that. It's cool to bring up that 5 weeks prior to this, we had the famous show where Dave McKigney and Frank Tunney ran on the same night.
Yeah.
You are the man to know about all that night, so you want to just touch on that real quick?
Yeah, we talked about this on one of our other podcasts, Ontario Wildman, and we could bring this into one of our shows eventually, but it's not important. The Wildman, Dave McKigney, tried to go up against Tunney in 1971. Fat chance of getting anywhere. Dave completely lost his shirt. Completely, although he had some really cool talent, sort of unknown for Toronto guys at the time. Frank squished him like a bug and basically relegated Dave to Scarborough Arena, where he was basically his home away from home for the rest of his promoting career in Ontario, right till the 87. So yeah, 16 years of being forced out into a smaller arena, which was perfect for him, but squished like a bug. Like a bug.
Yeah, even said of a Sean brother in there to send a statement, didn't he? Was it not Butcher? Yeah. It was Maurice?
It was Butcher, yeah.
Oh, it was Butcher? Okay. Yeah. I was getting... Anyways.
Butcher was like 6 feet tall and Maurice was like 5'7". Big difference in size. And when Paul was fat, big, and Maurice wasn't.
October 1st, Harley Race versus Dory Funk with Luthez as the special guest referee. So I pulled out, Wes, the Justice booklet. Let's do the Terry Justice book of the year 1971. Figure, take a good look, and that's where I found all this stuff. So here's the first one.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
What do you see on there? Anything interesting you see?
I see. The only thing I ever see is Luthez. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Three big world champions on the card for sure.
And one match.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
But St. Louis, that's what they did in St. Louis.
It was the home of the NWA.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
They had the pulling power to get anybody there at all. And we will talk about a bit about that later on, but yeah.
Yeah. On October 5th. Sorry, what would you say?
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see tonight when we go through the card. October 5th, 1971, Jack Briscoe teamed with Johnny Walker to face Terry Funk and Bobby Duncan.
Yeah. That was in Florida.
Yep, in Florida. Florida, another huge wrestling territory. I heard today, actually, when I was listening to the Jim Cornette podcast, that Crockett bought Florida in like the late 80s, I think, or the mid 80s. As
far as I know.
Well, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there for you. You're older than me. Jeez.
Well, the promotion went for a crap, right? And
yeah,
Mike Graham was trying to run it, I guess, and he just couldn't.
We're going to Indiana now, Wes. October 14th, 1971. The Baron fought Dick the Bruiser.
Nice WWA card, and there's a couple WWA guys on this card. Even I see Blackjack Mulligan there and a bunch of other preliminary guys.
Oh yeah.
I think you could add this to that for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's Dick the Bruiser and Baron being pummeled in the Dick the Bruiser's style. Never left his feet.
Did you ever see Dick the Bruiser?
No, he never came to Ontario.
Really? I have, like, he worked for Dave though.
They said he came a couple of times. I've never had it confirmed. He was on the ads. Terry Dart told me that he had been there, but Terry never saw him either.
Oh, okay.
He didn't need to come to Ontario.
Yeah, because I have an ad with him in Sarnia.
Yeah, Sarnia and Leamington. There's an ad for him in Leamington also, which is down close to Detroit also. But yeah.
Well, we're good. That's pretty much the night before the show. But before that, Wes, the little fun thing that you and I like to do is talk about the champions of 1971. So the NWA champion 1971 is Dory Funk Jr.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't have to say anything else.
Yeah, DFJ.
Yep.
He didn't go far in that NWA tournament we did without him, though.
No.
The WWF World Heavyweight Champion is Pedro Morales.
Yep, great guy, great star, huge pulling power, rabid fans. They had to take the title off him because the Puerto Rican fans were going berserk when he was getting the shit kicked out of him, right?
Wow, okay.
They had to take the title off him. Too much heat.
That's wild, dude. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, you learn something every day on our show. Oh, should we even mention the AWA?
Sure.
Oh, this guy, of course.
1,000 years old, we're still the champion. God, it's what happens when you own your promotion. Vern Gagne. Not take it away from the long career, great wrestler in his youth, middle ages. I mean, at this point in his life, he had to have been 50 something, right? Still in half decent shape, but
Listen, you want to talk about age? I just read an article today that Ric Flair's training for one more match.
Yeah.
At 78.
Yeah.
What are you, Mickey Rourke in the fucking wrestler movie? You're gonna die in the ring, bro.
He's gonna die. I hope
everyone's like, don't do it. And he's like, I still got it. Like, what are you doing? You have nothing to prove. Wes, when does it come to the point where you have nothing to prove? I'm sorry for swearing. It just gets me so mad because I don't want him to get hurt.
No.
Anyways, the world class champion, which was not world class, the WCCW, it was the WCWA at the point in time.
Yeah.
Was Wahoo McDaniel.
Yeah.
Nothing bad to say about him.
Never.
He hit AC recommended watching highlights of the Ric Flair Wahoo feuds, and my God, I've never seen only trees get chopped that hard, bro. I'm telling you.
That's right.
The Florida heavyweight champion, Jack Briscoe.
As you showed on that Florida clipping.
Exactly.
And these guys who were like big at that time in 1971, like Briscoe and Race and O'Connor, and they were going back and forth. They were hitting big towns.
Well,
Briscoe could have been holding the Missouri title also, and he's just going back from Miami, St. Louis, Jacksonville, wherever else in Missouri, Kansas City, say for example, or whatever. Right? The guys were big, and they must have been making huge bucks.
Well, here's the thing too, right? We talked about it last week. It's a brand. It's a business. It's not jumping. It's, you said it before on one of our episodes. Well, time to go on and learn a new hold somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? We used you for 8 weeks. You're getting stale. It's time to move on, right? And I think a big reason Don Leo Jonathan never held a major title like the NWA World title is because he liked to travel.
Yeah. Some of the guys, that's all they wanted was wanderlust, right? They just wanted to wander. And if you look at, I'm not saying nowadays, obviously, but say 1985 and earlier or something like that, the guys who were the biggest stars probably to the detriment of their families, were the guys who had no problems traveling.
Yeah.
The guys had no problems touring, going California for 4 months, and then maybe going to Florida for 6 months, and then maybe back up to the Northeast for 2 months, and then that was what they did. And those were the guys that became famous. Those are the guys that, like you said, learned more because they were wrestling different styles and different, Portland was more this, Miami was more this, St. Louis was obviously always technical, lots of actual wrestling instead of brawling and stuff, right? And don't get me started on what the WWF was at that time, because it blew.
Yeah.
It was terrible. But my own preference, right?
Hey, everybody's got a preference. And when we got a preference with our first sponsors, Grand River Tea. The NWCA podcast is sponsored by Grand River Tea. Grand River Tea is a Canadian company owned by a Canadian woman entrepreneur providing premium loose leaf teas. Now the listeners of our show can save 10% on every order by using the code NWCA at checkout on the Grand River Tea website. An exciting product that is featured by Grand River Tea is purple tea. Sold worldwide, it is a cross between green and white tea. All the health benefits of green tea with only half, that's right, half of the caffeine. Squeeze a couple of drops of lemon into your teacup and your tea turns purple. Of course, this tea is non-GMO, TSIN, Forest and Fair Trade certified. Use the code NWCA on the Grand River Tea website at the checkout and save 10% off on your purchase.
Awesome.
Wes?
Yep.
We brought up the 4 major names we're going to talk about. We talked about them. It's time to get into the card, buddy.
Okay. Let's run this down.
Ontario boy, Steve Bolus, and Ronnie Etchison, sorry, stuttered, versus Angelo Poffo and Benny Ramirez.
Yeah.
So Steve Bolus, I think, is Hamilton, but he was built from Ottawa, or was he from Ottawa?
No, he's built from Hamilton, built from all over the place.
Okay.
One of those traveling kind of guys that, he did a lot of work in the Central States.
Okay.
We'll call this St. Louis, the Central States area, Kansas City. So he did pretty good. Perennial tag team champion there. Held the tag quite a bit. Where do I got here on Bolus? I got a great story on Steve Bolus. So back in the 80s, we were going to drinking across the border into Buffalo. But we got refused at the border because we were already intoxicated.
Maybe. Yeah, okay.
So then we decided to go back to Niagara Falls. So we're looking for a parking spot because we're parked the car. We're going to do some more binging of alcoholic beverages and other things. So we go into this parking lot, and there's a guy standing there, and he's asked for $5 or $2 or whatever it was to charge. And I always sat in the back of the car because I was the person who did this. And hey, it's Steve Bolus. I was probably toasted, right? Steve Bolus, it's Steve Bolus. Look, guys. And none of my friends were wrestling fans. They could care less. So, and he sticks his head in the window and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He starts talking to me, and I said something stupid like, "Well, you're a freaking loser, man. You're a loser." And I was like, oh. I think about it now, and I think, oh, how embarrassing. Because he was at the time, he was still on TV, but he was on the downside of his career. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Very disparaging on my part.
Way to go, Wes.
Yeah, I know.
Ronnie Etchison, what do you got on him?
Multi-time Central States champion and a single tag team champion for the Missouri title and the Central States title. He wrestled in Ontario when he was younger. Buffalo, Montreal, he wrestled everywhere. He was a pretty big guy. He had a long career. Benny Ramirez, that's a good one because I do have a picture here. Or I had a picture here of Benny, and It was one of the pictures that frightened me as a kid when I was a young fan. I can't find the picture right now, but we'll have it for you when this gets posted. He portrayed the wrestler called the Mummy. That was one of his gimmicks.
Okay.
And to tell you the truth, I don't even remember ever seeing a picture of him without a mask on. But he had a white suit on, and it was all covered in bandages, like the Mummy, and very scary looking with the mask. Really scared me.
What?
I never saw him live. He never came up here, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Angelo Poffo, of course, the father of Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yep. But he didn't wrestle on the show.
No, he didn't.
He did not. He didn't show up for whatever reason, and he was replaced by Hans Schmidt, who did double duty.
And Hans Schmidt is one of my faves. Why? He's Canadian.
Yep.
It's crazy that, like, that's what's interesting too. Like, you look it up and then you say, "Oh, well, I guess he got a double payday because he worked twice."
Yep.
This would have been a good one. Blackjack Lanza versus Dick the Bruiser, buddy.
Yeah.
That would have been
a couple of real stars there. Lanza was a bruiser, and Dick the Bruiser was a bruiser. So yeah, that would have been a knockdown, drag out affair.
He even says on the clipping here. That's one of the only things. There's only 3 things promoted there. So there's the original clipping of the night.
Cool. Yeah, so that was a draw. Heenan was in Lanza's corner. Heenan didn't make too many trips to St. Louis at the time because he was working mostly in the WWA, but he would have come down with Dick the Bruiser and Lanza because they were both working in the WWA at the time, which is based in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that match was a draw.
Makes sense too, right?
2 big stars. They either of them can't lose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were probably pushing towards something else going on down in the future. So why kill someone?
Yeah, Blackjack Lanza came to Toronto, no?
Yep. I tried to get a picture of him once on one of the first cards I went to, but I was too shy to ask him. And then he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, have you seen a purple car show up? I'm waiting for a ride from my friend." And I froze.
Yeah, I froze when I met Hogan. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us, Wes.
It does.
Rufus R. Jones and Terry Funk versus Big Bill Miller and Hans Schmidt.
Yeah. Well, I've got a little picture here of Big Bill Miller, who I never saw live, but I did see him on TV quite a bit. He appeared on TV here quite a bit in the 70s with his brother Dan. That hold, as you see him applying there, he used what I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, this was called the standing sleeper hold. So usually a sleeper's like the guy standing behind, right?
Yeah.
This was a I don't know, some kind of a gimmick hold, but yeah. That match was won by Funk and Jones. Sorry, Funk and Jones won 2 out of 3. Yeah. Rufus R. Jones, nothing. Although he did appear here in Canada in the 50s for Kazabowski's promotion.
Really?
Buster Lloyd. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to get into the big 4 here, Wes. I'm going to pull this clipping out again that I just recently showed because now we're into the big heavies.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is from obviously the stuff I got from Terry Dart.
Yeah.
So don't forget, if you miss anything, we post everything at the end of the show, so don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll read this at the end, actually. Yeah, I'll read that in a bit. Anyways, let's get into it. So, Central States Heavyweight Championship, Harley Race versus Pat O'Connor. So, I have something cool, Pat O'Connor, that my friend Wes just sent me in the mail. I love this, man. You sent me this. Where do
Yeah.
you get these things?
I can't remember where I got that. It might have been from Terry. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Pat O'Connor, one of my favorites that I track. Wes New sent that in. That's so cool to see.
Yeah. I got a picture here of Pat refereeing a match with Gene Kaniski. That's probably in St. Louis also.
Yeah.
The
What do you got?
I
I got
never
two
saw Pat
photos.
O'Connor even on TV. Oh, nice,
Yeah,
handsome Harley with the belt.
that's right, baby. And then
Nice.
check this one out, Wes. This one's I won these are the ones I told you I won off. It says August 1977 on the back.
Yep.
I
Okay.
don't know what that means. But yeah, here's another one with him with the championship.
Yeah, and I think that might be St. Louis too with the white ropes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, anyways, big fans over here of the King. I have another photo that you sent me of him in the Maple Leaf Gardens as King Harley Race.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, that's a Terry Dart picture too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We take it for granted some of these names because, well, I should say I take it for granted because I never even saw them on TV.
yeah.
Because we just never saw them, right?
Mhm.
And this card, quote, O'Connor was past his prime, so we would have never been pushed here as a single star or anything, right?
Yeah.
But last night I watched the title change match between Buddy Rogers and Pat O'Connor. I hadn't watched it for quite a few years.
Okay.
He was good. He was so good. He really was good, and you could see why he had the belt.
Oh yeah.
Did super talent, really good physical specimen, and I imagine what a match between him and Luthez would have been like. Just hold after hold after hold after hold of real wrestling, right?
Yeah. Wrestling. That's what we like to chant now, Wes. It's amazing though, this thing like Harley Race versus Pat O'Connor is just like the semi-main event of a card in St. Louis.
Yeah, would have topped anywhere, any big arena, anywhere, even in Japan, right?
Buddy, it would have sold out the gardens.
Yeah.
Everyone always says, "Oh, the gardens never sold out." It never really sold out. It never sold out. It only sold out once. It's like, okay, what's 17,000? That's a lot of people. And an 18,000 seater. That's a sellout, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anything you want to add to Pat O'Connor or Harley Race?
Other than let me see my notes here.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, when did you start seeing Harley Race come to Toronto?
After he won the belt the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pat Race and Pat O'Connor was no contest. Double count out of the ring. Race was on the apron and Pat was outside. Probably after a mid-ring collision where they both go out and they both get counted out.
Yeah, yeah.
To save face. It's just a different way of saving face for both the guys and completely understandable, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to pick, like, for me, like, who would you rather see win? Like, if I was there that night, I mean, to me, just seeing it is a win, you know?
Yeah. Oh, like I couldn't imagine. It would.
Yeah, like, how do you pick?
I would have probably gone for O'Connor because he was the face in this match. Harley at the time he was even billed as Mad Dog Race in Texas for a while around this time, right? So
Yeah.
he was a heel, right? No doubt about it. He wasn't. And I don't think he was a tweener either. I think he was just a heel. Yeah.
Straight heel. Okay, brother. Main event time. Texas Death Match. I mean, Texas Death Match still around to this day. Baron von Rashcke versus Jack Briscoe. Rashcke.
Yeah. So you know what? This would have been an interesting match because, as we've discussed on between us and with our group when we did that poll for Schwa Wars, Briscoe held the belt, and it's not like he couldn't hold the belt. It wasn't like but he was some of us thought that he was kind of colorless. So I think him against Baron von Rashcke would have been an interesting match. Anyways, Jack won, so and my records don't say anything about a count out or anything. He must have pinned him.
Yeah.
Or done the four corners or whatever they had to do, right?
No, exactly.
In their stipulations in St. Louis, right?
It's wild sometimes to think about that. Let's see. So remember, this is the long piece clipping here, Wes. I know you can't read it, so I'm gonna read some of it right now. It says Jack Briscoe tangles with Von Rashcke in a Texas death match, one of two main events on Friday's Kiel Auditorium wrestling bill. Mind my dogs. I think my parents and my sister just came back. Central Stage champion Harley Race risked his regional crown against Pat O'Connor in the co-feature. I mean, right there's your money's worth.
Yep.
Rashcke was disqualified against Briscoe in the final fall of a 6-man tag elimination on October 1st. Well, that's kind of cool.
Okay, so just 2 weeks prior, there was a 6-man elimination match. Okay.
There you go. Disqualifications and pins, however, won't count in Friday's death match. The winner is declared when one man concedes or in the option of the referee is unable to continue. Race is attempting to rebound from a defeat at the hands of the National Wrestling Alliance champion Dory Funk Jr. Harley and O'Connor battled to a stalemate in a televised bout last spring. Their match Friday is a 1-fall finish. So there you go.
Yeah.
Straight
and forward St. Louis wrestling, which is right.
Exactly. It just proves to you though, like St. Louis stack cards all the time, right?
Oh, I've looked at somewhere someone had a history of St. Louis wrestling, and I went through it one day. I think Terry Dart might have had it, and it was a big book, a big thick printed book. And just looking at the cards, you go, oh, every card has either 3, 4, sometimes even 5 NWA champions on the card. And then there's still big guys like Johnny Valentine, who never helped make a major belt, but he was on the card. Hans Schmidt, who had like a massively long career, he was always on the card, right? Mm-hmm. And Schmidt, at this time, Jesse, Schmidt was doing Chicago, Toronto. He was traveling. He was here every Sunday. So I mean, some of these guys were doing Montreal, Detroit, Toronto, St. Louis, maybe Chicago, and doing a circuit. They were on the road every day because they're big stars.
Yeah.
Commanding big bucks.
I think Elio DiPaolo would have been a bigger star if he'd liked to travel. Because he didn't like to travel, so he always stayed local from what I see, like in Canada or Buffalo, Ohio, but that's it. Like
I've seen some Texas Elio DiPaolo from the 54, 55.
Oh, okay.
But that would have been him out grooming himself, getting ready, and then some guys just stayed at home.
Yeah.
Stayed at home, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's get into the aftermath. We are 5 weeks away from the career-ending accident with Whipper Watson that ended his wrestling career, but also started a whole other career on his humanitarian side.
That's right. Yeah, and no offense against the guy, he was done. I have a picture somewhere of him in the ring in the early 70s, and he was a little bit on the portly side.
Yeah.
That's why he was always in tag matches, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But October 23rd, 1971, Dory Funk Jr. faced Ernie Ladd in Detroit. Here's that clipping there. So nice. Again, right back to your travel, right?
Yep.
He was in St. Louis on the 15th, and by the 23rd, he's in Detroit. And then in November, hold on, I got to get to the page. November 9th, where is it? Here it is. November 9th. Eddie Graham and Jack Briscoe versus Bobby Duncan and Ole Anderson.
Nice. And the Kelly twins on that card.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's one of our favorite things to do in this show is talk about who was a champion, who will be a champion. Wes, you want to run down the list? Did I miss anybody this week?
You sure did. Well, no, you only missed one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the people who would hold world championships or did hold the world championship: Jack Briscoe, of course, Terry Funk, Pat O'Connor, Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, and Big Bill Miller, as Mr. M held the AWA title.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
See? Okay.
Yep.
People who work for the Wildman.
Yeah, so we got a big list here.
Okay,
Well,
so I only put one name, and you confirm that one name can never be confirmed.
Yes, we can confirm that's not going to be confirmed. So Steve Bolus,
Yes.
in the latter part of his career, Von Rashcke worked for Dave when he was co-promoting with the WWA. Angelo Poffo, Randy, and Landy all worked for Dave, all three of them. And I think Moose Cholwalk did too. He was in the tag team match. No, he was we missed that one. Jerry Briscoe versus Moose Cholwalk.
What, on the card?
Yeah.
I didn't even have that one.
Yeah. Jerry Briscoe beat Moose Cholwalk. So Moose Cholwalk was another guy from WWA, would have come down with Dick the Bruiser, Bobby Heenan, and Blackjack Lanza in the same card to share expenses. So I think he worked for Dave on a couple of shows too when they were co-promoting back in the day. Yeah.
So there you go.
So we've got a picture of the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion Jack Briscoe there, the nice one, and also we have this is I love this picture. Look at his forehead; it's so cool. Terry Funk. I don't know if is that too bright. Is that?
It's okay. We're like I said, we're gonna do a B-roll shot. Johnny G.
Just hacked to ribbons, right, with pieces of tape holding his forehead together.
Red is green, baby.
Yeah. So I do also have a card from St. Louis from just about 1 year later.
Okay.
So, Kangaroos versus Ronnie Etchison, who was a mainstay there, and Guy Mitchell, who's a Canadian guy. And this is funny. I'll talk about this in a second. Steve Bolus, who was still there, beat Juan Sebastian. Rufus R. Jones beat Danny Miller, who's Big Bill's younger brother. Stomper beat a guy named George Holtz, who I think was out of Pittsburgh, might have been doing a little bit of traveling. Okay. And funny because this Stomper would have been Archie Goldie the Stomper. But Guy Mitchell also played the Stomper in parts of Canada as a masked guy.
Oh, there you go.
Two Stompers. Big Bill Miller and Hans Schmidt beat Jack Briscoe and Cowboy Bob Ellis. Harley Race beat Pat O'Connor, and Dory Funk Jr. beat Gene Kiniski. So on that card, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 world champions on that card. And that was just about a year after the card we're talking about today.
Dude, St. Louis is stacked. They've been stacked. The home of the NWA. No one could do it better because it was Sam Muchnick, right?
Yeah. And he's supposed to be such a great payoff man. Treated the guys all awesomely. So, yeah, come on.
What can you say?
You can't.
Exactly. I want to thank everybody for listening to our show and for supporting what me and Wes do. We really enjoy doing this. We're back on track. So, hey, like we say, life happens, man. And at the end of the day, we're still human and things happen. So, but we're back. And thank you for hitting that subscribe button. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button. Get all your weekly updates. We have so much more coming in the future now and so much more planned. And it's just going to be more history, more wrestling combined, and it's all going to be free here on YouTube. We want to be some top YouTube creators. Call me crazy, but believe in it and it'll happen. So thank you again for listening and believing in us.
Yes.
Congratulations to the subscriber contest winners.
Number 3, Marty Goldstein. Number 2, David Valenta. And number 1, John. John, you got to get a hold of us, man.
We need to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
If you want the prize, bro.
Yeah, if you want the prize. I got the folder
got it
right
there?
here with everything in it. So
You got it there? Okay.
So it's just chock full of stuff, magazines, all sorts of stuff.
Beauty. We want to thank Grand River Tea for sponsoring our show. Our boy Johnny G, the man behind the scenes who edits and puts everything together for us. We wouldn't have such a great show without him. So thank you, Johnny.
we can't do it, Jesse.
I know. I don't know how to put everything together. I'm too old for this. Social media groups. Again, they've grown. They've grown and grown. I can't believe we're at 1.1 members in the Wildman.
We're at, I think, altogether 2,700 members in our 3 groups, which is just awesome. So fantastic.
Huge. The Wildman tribute page, Ontario Wrestling Clippings of the Past, National Wrestling Clipping Alliance. Hit us up, man. If you want us to talk about something, visit a time period, hit a city, let us know. Use the hashtag NWCA Podcast. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at official NWCA1. I wanted to bring up real quick book number 2, Whipper Watson, the clippings of Whipper Watson. We're getting ready to mail out. So if you got book 1 from either me or Wes, book 2 is out and it's going to be coming to you very soon. We're getting ready to mail.
I've got my copies all printed off already.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready to roll.
Again, guys, seriously, we're not afraid to touch anywhere. If you want us to touch a specific area, we'll try our best. Yeah, PG-13, Wes, relax. Jim Connolly's not here. You don't have to impress him. Jim, you're crazy. I know the shoestring story.
Yes.
Use the hashtag NWCA Podcast. Use the code NWCA at the checkout on Grand River Tea to save some money. Next week, the furthest we've ever gone, Wes.
Yeah, way back in the time machine. Pushed all the buttons, put all the gas in.
Yeah, in the DeLorean. Yeah. Does anybody know the Back to the Future reference that we're trying to make here? But seriously, Toronto, we're doing it. 1959.
Year I was born.
There you go. You're a year younger than my dad.
Yeah. Okay.
Pat O'Connor versus Luthez. It's going to be a great card.
Fantastic card. We've been doing research on it, and it's so exciting to be talking about that kind of a historical card right in our home turf, and to go along with this one, which we've talked about a lot of very important NWA guys.
Exactly. And it's going to be cool because 1959 is officially the farthest we have ever gone in our history episodes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different and it's going to be fun next week. Don't miss it. Hit that subscribe button. Wes, anything you want to say before we close it out?
Hit the subscribe button, please, and thank you. A million thank yous. We want to be able to come on here with headphones and good microphones and be professional and get good guests. And sometimes, as we've known, that guests just won't come on sometimes without some sort of remuneration. And
money.
Can't spend our own money. So, hey, that's the music from Galeback's Oxide.
I don't even get that.
Whatever.
That's the $1 Million Man's theme song.
Whatever. So yeah, please subscribe. She used the same thing. She used a financial guru.
Oh, okay. It's funny. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. It's true. Everything that we do, mailing out, printing the booklets, it all comes out of our own pocket. We do not make anything. But we want to get there, and we need to be more professional. So hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends. Share our episodes. Visit our past episodes. Comment on our episodes. Let us know what you want to hear, man. We're down. We did our NWO. That was our first fan-requested episode. We've hit St. Louis. We're back in Toronto next week in 1959. We're talking about Pat O'Connor versus Luthez. It's going to be a big one.
Yep. Looking forward to it already. And again, I'm going to say it again. Marty Goldstein, David Valenta, and John. Get a hold of us. I know how to get a hold of Marty, and I think I know how to get a hold of David, but I'm not too sure. So he's going to have to get a hold of us also. Please, guys, even whoever's listening, one person subscribe. That's all we're asking. We want to get there so that we can do a better job, and then I can get hair and look prettier and stuff.
You getting hair is like the Leafs getting a cup.
Yeah,
not happening.
Oh,
money.
I'm so disappointed that, and I don't follow it as much as I used to. But I asked my Dad, how come the Stanley Cup champions are playing the Leafs? What the heck? And he goes, I don't know how it's worked. I don't know what happened. And I couldn't fathom why two half-decent teams were playing each other instead of like 1-16 and 2.
It's all weird and different now. But at the end of the day, the Eastern Conference pretty much had 5 teams with over 100 points. It was a close conference.
Okay.
But they still...
choke slam. He's going to get the choke slam.
I paid $17,000 when I had lots of money back in the early 80s for a seat on Bay Street. And I'm thinking of selling it, actually, because it's probably worth about $170,000 now.
Yeah.
For the parade, which is never going to happen in my lifetime because Punch Imlach, Harold Ballard. That's it. I'm out. I'm finished.
Alexander Ovechkin. Oh my God. Did I tell you that I'm an Eagles fan too?
Oh, hey, I just found this. Pulled this out of nowhere. Big Bill Miller, right there on the cover, bashing people's heads in, doing what he does best.
Perfect. And we will be back next week doing what we do best.
Yes.
I'm Jess.
I'm Wes.
And we're the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance. Thanks for watching the NWCA podcast.
Ciao for
See
now.
you next week, folks.
Yep.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Wes.
We are the National Wrestling Clipping Alliance. It's the NWCA Podcast.
I love doing this, and I love you in a cool wrestling history kind of way.
Hey, easy, man.